Well, it's lovely to see all of you, very enthusiastic, still very much happy, alive after a long day's work, I'm sure, for some of you. So our speaker tonight will talk about how you can salivate your fats, as the video show here. Okay, I think a lot of you know that once I used to fly the skies, okay, but I always joke that that was about 20 kilos ago. So, so when I came to Avita, yes, I was rather chubby. And then when I discovered CELEVA, I just pounced on it like a lion that hasn't had a meal for years. Okay. And then I'm very happy to say that it has shown me very good results, and I'm still working on it. But I would like to let our our speaker this evening tell you more about it and how you can salivate your fats away. Please put your hands together for Ho Yi Kid.
Hi. My name is Kid. I guess before I start, I'm always curious as to, what brings, some of the people here, okay? So maybe Kimi, yeah. I mean, I just got to know you, right? What would you like to find out, this evening, from this talk? I mean, you've seen that title, type of stuff. Anyway, the word salivate doesn't exist in the dictionary, okay? Yeah, Kimi, maybe something you would like to find out about? Okay, and what benefits were you kind of thinking about looking for? Oh, interesting. Okay, we'll ask you share your experience then. Okay, and I guess Faustina, right? Oh, welcome to my first talk. Okay, and what would you like to, learn about, this evening? What would you like to take away from the evening?
Thank
Yeah.
you. I would like to have a deeper knowledge in terms of what CELEVA can do.
Oh,
I understand that it does help in controlling weight management, losing your fats. So that's why I celebrate.
okay. Yeah, and
and
then Lawrence. Okay, I mean, I've seen you already. Yeah, I know. What would you like to find out this evening? Okay, good. Okay,
you very
whether it
much,
can help
Kim.
with cholesterol, okay. And I guess Maria, welcome. I think this is the first time you're attending my talk, Yeah, what would you like to find out after looking at the title of this talk?
How to rebalance?
Oh, rebalance. Okay, something gone off balance a little bit. Okay, that's common. Okay, later you'll find that it doesn't only happen to bigger size people. It happens to thin people. Whatever size people. Sometimes the looks doesn't tell. Okay, let me share a little story about my friend here. This is my friend from KL called Chuan Guan. Now we have a nickname for him. We actually call him Agu or Ang Ngao. Yeah, that's us Cantonese. Okay. So it happens, I think, one of my very first trips back to KL back then to give a talk on Selagen, right? And we caught up. We were long-time schoolmates that we haven't caught up for a long time. And then she happened to share with me that, he was trying to lose weight because his BMI was off. He was a little bit overweight type of stuff. And, at that time, CELEVA just came out. I said, look, this is something that just came out. You could give it a try. This is kind of how it works. It's relatively new. So, many of the people, even in Singapore, are just trying it out, okay? So what happened was about 3 or 4 months later, I had a chance to go back and do a workshop in KL. And then, that's when we caught up with the wife. And the wife was telling me that, hey, my hubby now is really happy. I said, what happened? He said, he actually, his weight gone down from 85, his original weight to about 78 at that time. And more important, he found that his BMI was balanced, right? And, it's really instances like this, that really reinforces why I'm so passionate in sharing, what I know, with many people. Okay. Now, so I always have a caveat. I told people, I'm not the inventor of CELEVA, okay? So I can't tell you all the fanciful, the forceful calling, the very cheap name type of stuff. So what I'm going to share with you really comes from my own personal experience, the friends I've helped, and also from fellow distributors here who have used it. And right now, I would say CELEVA has had quite a number of years in the market, and we have got good good stories and so forth, right? Yeah. Now, so again, just a word, what we're going to share today is really, names and stories of people that we know, right? And now if you're on medication, by all means, listen to your doctor's advice. Of course, things like CELEVA will help improve your condition and hopefully to the point where you are able to do without medication. Now, if you are here today, okay, thinking that, I'm looking like this now, and just by taking CELEVA 3 days later, I'm going to be like this. Okay? Okay, I can tell you first, you're in the wrong place. Okay, then I don't want you to waste your time. Okay, I mean, the door is just there. Okay, let's not waste the next 45 minutes. Same with the people on Zoom. Okay, if you're not going to get this, you can log out from the Zoom right now. Okay, because I can tell you, you're not going to get this. Okay, so now, but since you're already here, might as well see me out and listen to me. Yeah, you'll learn something new now. But of course, if you're looking to kind of lose your weight naturally, like what I mean by natural, if you're prepared to give yourself 5 to 6 months, okay, and let the process take place, or if you're looking to rebalance back your cholesterol, okay, or clear blockages from your arteries, which is important because, this is probably one of the biggest cause for strokes, or improve your brain health, well, I'll share with you why it improves brain health, or even your liver health, then yes, I think you're in the right place. What I'm going to share is going to be useful for you, okay? Now, do you realize that I actually picked this up from an insurance, critical illness thing, right? In Singapore, there's only 5 conditions, okay? 5 conditions that lead to 90% of all the critical illness. Okay, everybody knows about cancer. You realize that heart attack is a big thing. Coronary, people get bypass. You hear about them all the time. Stroke, right? And of course, end-stage kidney failure. Now, good news is CELEVA is going to be able to help with at least 3 of these conditions that I've listed down here. Okay? I mean, it was quite surprised to me that, 5 of these conditions make up 90% of all the critical illness that's happening. Now, not just in Singapore, typically these statistics hold true around the world too, okay? So let me introduce you to CELEVA.
People today have gained a stronger consciousness about health. However, they too face increasing pressures and anxiety in life. These unseen pressures, coupled with environmental pollution and unhealthy living habits, such as smoking, alcoholism, reducing sleep, etc., will cause a great health crisis to you, potentially leading to a loss of appetite for some, while others skip meals completely. Even if you consume all varieties of fishes, meats, vegetables, fruits, vitamins A to Z. Are you eating healthily? You slowly become obese, bloated, and fatigued, losing your physical strength over time. Every day, you sit at your desk at work, and when you are home, you sit in front of the TV. You hardly to move around, not to mention exercise, accumulating body fat and cholesterol in your belly and hips day and night. With each passing day, your physical fitness declines, and aging comes creeping in early. Your internal organs and blood vessels get covered by fat and cholesterol. They accumulate to form plaques that block and hinder the smooth flow of blood in your arteries. The blood vessels of the human body are responsible for transporting oxygen and other important nutrients to all parts of the body. When the vascular flow is hindered, it leads to insufficient blood circulation to the heart, insufficient oxygen to the brain, insufficient supply of nutrition, most importantly protein, to the cells of the entire body. Issues such as fatty liver and cognitive decline could set in. Potentially, the situation can worsen, leading to strokes and heart disease, etc. Enter CELEVA, an exclusive multifaceted proprietary supplement from Switzerland. CELEVA can help you lower cholesterol, fatty plaques along with other harmful effects in your body and blood vessels. CELEVA's global exclusive proprietary formula, phosphocholine complex, promotes a healthier, more vibrant you by supporting cellular, cardiovascular, liver, kidney, gastrointestinal, and cerebrum health. It is especially powerful in getting rid of stubborn belly fat, helping you lose weight for a slimmer, healthier body. CELEVA is Swiss made in compliance with GMP and ISO standards. 100% plant formula, non-genetically modified, gluten-free ingredients, sophisticated scientific research, experienced R&D team, quality assurance, excellent performance. CELEVA, the exclusive proprietary supplement for a vibrant and active you.
All right. Now, thank you to the company for a most wonderful video. Saves me the whole thing of, going very scientific. All right. Now, the science of CELEVA is really based on what we call this cell membrane therapy, okay? And that's me together with the founder of CELEVA, a couple of years ago, and what he did, he and his scientists, did a research into this thing called cell membrane therapy. So, the benefits of it actually comes from his research on multiple papers that's written and, talk about benefits for plaque deposits, clot vessels, which I'll talk a little bit about later. And I was very fortunate to be able to learn from him. And then, of course, today I'm going to do my best to recreate a version of Professor Mike. Okay. Now, why is CELEVA so effective? I'm just going to keep two key salient points, okay? First and foremost, because it's synergistically blended. Now, inside CELEVA itself, there's only two key ingredients, okay? And the main one is this thing called a phosphocholine complex, okay? Now, you know that the things that are made in Switzerland, of course, starts with very, very good ingredients. So it starts with very high quality ingredients in the first place. Now, you can have very high quality ingredients. And like you all know in MasterChef, right? All the chefs get same high quality ingredient, but why does some people cook food better than others? Right? Because of the skill in blending all the food together and bring out the best. And similarly, the Swiss are known for being master blenders, okay, in making the best out of it. And that is actually one of the key reasons of why, first is the phosphocholine. Now, second thing, everybody knows that, Swiss are known for two things, right? Quality and safety. If I know I'm going to ingest something that's going to affect my cells, I better make sure that it's safe. And that's the reason why Swiss are known for, their high quality and safety. Now, what makes CELEVA or the phosphocholine complex so different from maybe some of the other choline thing you may have come across in the market is really the purity. So Professor Mike was explaining to us, is the technology in Switzerland that enables us to purify this thing to more than 90% purity. And that's why when you take it, the efficacy is there. Okay. Now, the choline is actually extracted from non-GMO soybean shoots. So I just did a little picture here where you saw that whole non-GMO thing is basically extracted from soybean shoots, okay, not the soybean itself, okay. Because when the buds are growing, there's a big concentration of choline there, right? Now, so because of this, right, what did his research show? His research shows that CELEVA is able to help first promote things like healthy cell membranes, lead to a healthy brain, rebalance back your cholesterol, improve the liver function of your liver, and more important, give you good vascular health. Okay, so these are the 5 key points of what CELEVA brings about, and all the research from the cell membrane therapy comes about. Okay, I'm going to share a little bit about cell membrane. Now, choline itself is a big component of what we call your cell walls. Now, why is the cell walls important? Because when your cell walls are important, 2 things happen. Nutrients can go through easily the wall of the membrane. Right? Now, second important thing is, okay, your cells, will have metabolic waste. When your cell membranes are healthy, likewise, any metabolic waste that's created can also easily get out through the walls, okay? Now, what happens if your cell walls are unhealthy? Same thing, right? It becomes harder, it becomes damaged. So you find that nutrients find it very difficult to get in. Similarly, waste find it very hard to get out. Now, what's the consequence of that? You realize that over time, your body just keep on building up more and more toxins, right? And even if you take very good food or very good nutrients, your cells are not able to get in the very good nutrients. So this is one of the important aspects of it. Now, what does choline do? Think about choline as like little bricks, right? Little bricks that goes into building back up the wall. So when you have damaged membrane walls or when your walls are hardened, CELEVA, the choline complex helps you to rebuild and make your cell membranes healthy again. Right? Now, as a result, CELEVA is very good for helping your body to detox. Okay, so let me just share a little story from Claire. Just sit back and watch.
大家好，我是 Claire。10多年来呢，我一直是被这个胆固醇过高所困扰着。我的饮食不定时，经常熬夜，平常也很少运动，所以呢，我的体重就节节的上升，从一个苗条淑女变成了小富婆，又变成了大富婆，肚腩越来越大。对我们女人来说，真的是一场噩梦。所以当我听到阿维塔推出 CELEVA 的时候呢，我第一时间就开始服用。刚开始服用的感觉是什么呢？就是排便量它有明显的增加，可是并没有拉肚子的现象，只是说这个大小便的次数跟量呢，它都有增加。反映在我们的身体上呢，我就是发现呢，我的水肿的现象已经有改善了。我每天午餐以后就会服用1颗 CELEVA， 到了第4天我发现呢，在我排便里面呢，有大量的这种奶油状的这个油脂排出来我真的吓了一大跳。那我从来没有看过在我排便里面出现这样的东西。排完之后呢，整个人的感觉非常的轻松。那我就量了一下腰围，哇，真的是少了几寸哦。那我先生在帮我拍这个之前跟之后的照片，他也发现了，他就跟我讲说他也要吃，因为他一向也有这个脂肪肝的问题嘛。那这个成绩呢，我真的是被鼓舞了，所以我就不间断的每天就服用1颗 CELEVA。到了12天的时候呢，我发现整个肚腩都消下去了。那再跟之前的照片一对照，哇，原来我以前的肚子有这么大呀！天哪！CELEVA 它并不是一个减肥的产品，它是在帮助我们消除内脏的脂肪。那透过这么轻松没有负担的方式呢，就可以把我们的内脏脂肪排出体外。然后当然最重要的事情，它可以恢复我们身体的曲线减轻身体的负担，这真的是太令人兴奋了。我很高兴有福气能够遇到阿维塔这么好的公司还有产品来照顾我和我家人的健康以及活力。阿维塔赞。
Yeah, thank you, Claire. Well, now Claire was one of the very early tester, I would say, of CELEVA when it first came out. And it's actually stories like this, when I first heard it from Claire, that really encourages me to why I'm so passionate in sharing, because I know everybody in Singapore loves to eat. Okay, but everybody is, Singapore, because of our lifestyle, find it difficult to exercise. So I find that this makes a perfect complement to the way we have life in Singapore. Now, the other interesting thing is choline is also a very important aspect that goes to the brain. It's this thing called acetylcholine, which is also existing in CELEVA. Now, what does this choline complex do? It's actually important because it actually is carrying what we call signals between the brain cells. So for the brain cells to talk to each other, okay, it actually needs this choline complex to facilitate the communication. And as a result, you realize that, for some of you who have taken CELEVA might find that, maybe my memory seems a little bit brighter. Okay, maybe you can learn a little bit faster too. It does improve the mood because when your cells and your brains are healthy, and then you find that you can maintain focus. Now, an interesting study shows that, right? For learning too. An interesting study shows that Alzheimer patient, which is a neurodegenerative problem, right? In general, these people have what we call very low levels of choline, okay? And that's why, Professor Mike, during his talks, says that, we have elderly parents, who are in danger of getting into Alzheimer's, dementia, and so forth. It's good to actually give them a choline complex, in which case that's where CELEVA plays a very good role in that, okay? So remember, CELEVA is good for the brains too. Now, more important, I would say that, for myself, I cherish most, I think CELEVA is great for promoting a healthy liver. Now, those of you who have taken some of our meridian therapy workshops will know that liver is a very important organ because it's our body's major detox organ, right? Taking in whatever crap that we take in every day through the body, the liver is one of the major organs that helps us detox, right? And phosphocholine complex, when when your liver has sufficient amount of this complex, plays a few roles. For those of you who are interested in visceral fat, it actually helps your body to shed visceral fats. And that's why for people with fatty liver, this is actually good news. It also prevents liver fat from accumulating. And of course, at the end, it helps, to promote your liver, makes it more effective in able to detox. Now, one of the benefits of being able to keep your liver healthy and clear all these visceral fats is, of course, rebalancing your cholesterol. So here I'd like to invite a good friend of mine, okay, to share his story. Okay, and again, he's one of the very early testers of CELEVA. Okay, shall I invite Alvin? Come, Alvin.
Hi there. Hi there. Yeah, once upon a time, I thought that cholesterol only affect people who are fat, right? Yeah. So little did I know that for the last 10 over years, it's been really difficult for me to shed my bad cholesterol. You have the good cholesterol, HDL, and you have the bad cholesterol, which is the LDL. So LDL is the one that is endangering our health. So persistent accumulation of high LDL may lead on to clogging of the blood vessel, and that will be endangering our heart health, right? Stroke and high blood pressure, as well as hypertension and all. So actually LDL is a precursor. The ability to lower down the LDL was really, really important. So I had, do you have my, yeah. So I don't remember all those. Yeah, but you see, you notice that my cholesterol before and after, so it was taken over a couple of months after I started taking CELEVA. So you realize that the red arrow was the LDL. So you could see that it was like 4.3, which is is at the danger zone, in other words, right? And after a couple of months, I went back to do a blood test. It went down to 3.38, which is just at the borderline of healthy in that sense. Yeah. Now, by no means that is you got to watch your diet, of course, but there are people like me who I believe is like genetically very, very stubborn with bad LDL. All right. So I think CELEVA will do a lot of good for many of us. Unfortunately, cholesterol is something that you cannot feel. How many of you can feel what is the cholesterol? You can't, yeah? So I recommend that you take a blood test, ask for the lipid profile, and then you could check your cholesterol at least like once a year. And after you started taking CELEVA continuously for a couple of months, and then you can go for another blood test to see and track and monitor and ensure that your LDL is at a healthy level, because this is a long-term preventative care for prevention of clogging of the blood vessel. Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, no, that story is so inspiring. It reminds me of so much that we always think thin people got no problem until you find that suddenly the thin people got heart attack, the thin people, type of stuff. So, so make it easy for you to remember. Let's remember LDL is lousy cholesterol and HDL is helpful cholesterol. And of course, triglycerides, of course, we all need fats, but excessive storage of fats is also not good for the body. Okay. So this is, I think, what Elvin has recommended is a very sound thing. Sometimes, you look thin and slim. So what I would suggest is do a blood profile, right? Do a proper blood test and give yourself 5 to 6 months, and later on, take a look at your blood test after that. I think that is the best gauge of how CELEVA is working on your body. The story like Alvin is pretty similar to many of our friends here. All of them will do their tests, especially if they're professional, they'll do their blood test before and after. And I think that's the best way to test out the efficacy of CELEVA. Now, some of you may ask, okay, people like Alvin, not so fat, probably don't have fatty liver, although the cholesterol is off. So how does it help with fatty liver? So let's listen to Ziling and her story on her fatty liver.
各位朋友，大家好，我是芷玲。 退出娱乐圈已经18年了。这18年里面呢，我就在13年开了一个 Cherry Pink Music Bar。在这期间呢，我发生了一点点小意外，脚骨就断了。然后呢，那时很辛苦的时候，我就常去找一个老朋友喝茶，他就介绍了一个产品给我，叫 CELEVATE。他说：“你吃吧，子玲，吃了之后呢，对你的骨骼增长有帮助，复合也有帮助，然后让你有体力去做那个复健。你知道，我们每次做 physiotherapy 都很痛。无形中，我就在不知道的情形之下，我吃了6个月的那个 CELEVATE。哇，真的，我就身体好了，骨骼也长了，就是复健也没有这么辛苦了，人也精神了，气质也好了。然后我真的很感谢这个朋友，真的很感谢他。所以我吃了 CELEVATE 吃了也很多年了。你知道啦，做夜生活都是日夜颠倒，又要喝酒，都要喝酒的嘛，那导致我的胆固醇也很高，我的脂肪肝那当然不用讲了，不在话下，肯定就是不行的。总而言之，身体的状况就是不是很好，很臃肿。直到2019年行情不好的时候，我就结业了，不做了。然后停业之后，我又再去找我的女朋友了，去找她喝茶了。反正没上班嘛，轻松，我去找她。我进到 office， 她就跟我讲：“子玲啊，你干嘛？这么胖，这么臃肿，整个人肥肥肿肿的。”我说：“哦，当然嘛，我说我喝酒嘛，就是这样的嘛。我现在没上班了。”说：“你真的太胖了，你不行。我公司来一个新产品。”瑞士来的 CELEVA 介绍你，就丢了给我，也没讲什么，我就拿回家去吃了。刚好我每年的例行检查就验血嘛，报告要去验血了，那个医生就叫我去验血，抽了血之后3天后我去看 report， 医生就告诉我没怎么样，哇，我认识你这么久，从来没有看到你的血验出来这么好，这么漂亮，你的血这什么都很正常。我说是吗？你的那个胆固醇没有了，你的那个脂肪肝没有了，你是吃什么？我说没有啊。哦，你肯定有运动，你什么？我说没有我什么都没做，我最懒运动。我就自己讲，可能是我没喝酒吧，我是这样讲啊。回家之后再过几天，我就去找这个老朋友，我说老朋友，把那天你给我吃的那个产品给我，真的很好，我肚皮也小了，我也掉了3个 kg 哦，哇，我吓了一跳，我本来是56 kg。53，我太高兴，我说减肥的给我。他说拜托好不好，子玲，这不是减肥的，这个消脂的，对你的脂肪说多余的脂肪可以排出来，就让你有精神。我成功了，我瘦了3 kg， 我的血脂很漂亮，我太高兴了，我爱你，我的老朋友，你最棒的。
Yeah, thank you, Zilin. Okay, Zilin always reminded me why I'm so, so engrossed, so passionate about this business. Being able, the ability to be able to bring health to, my loved ones and my close friends, and whoever is on the road to health. Okay, and I think this business is so wonderful for me, right? To be able to actually at my age to be able to bring another aspects of goodness to many of my friends. Okay, so yeah, of course, those are the things that help Ziling, the liver, and of course balancing back his cholesterol. Now this is important. Okay, now what does what we call the choline complex also do? Okay, the choline complex, when it goes into the blood vessels, also help us to break down our fats and cholesterol. Now one of the biggest cause of heart attack is what? Fats building up on the blood vessels, and you all know that's a silent thing, right? Your blood vessel. So a lot of time you find that by the time people go into the hospital, the doctor say, "Wow, your arteries are like 90% blocked. You got to go for a bypass immediately," type of stuff, right? But you say, "But I didn't feel anything," right? That is actually the danger, the silent danger, right? So one of the biggest help that when you have a choline complex goes to the body, helps to break down fats and cholesterol. Now, an interesting sharing, right? How do you know it? My own experience, typically many of the people, typically within like 2 or 3 weeks of taking CELEVA, you find that your poo-poo probably becomes a little bit softer. Something because it's more oily. You may also observe that your pee kind of a little bit bubbly type of stuff. So okay, it's working. Okay. So those are some of the common experience. But some people say that you CELEVA very good for constipation. Okay. But that's because your poo is softer and you find it goes easier. Now, the other interesting thing is this thing called homocysteine. Now, homocysteine is It's substance in the body. Now, the bad thing about homocysteine, it actually causes tears in your arteries. And what happens when you have these micro tears, right? Then, it becomes like a little blockage, right? Then you find that fats get stuck down here and then gradually they accumulate. So we have too much homocysteine in your body, right? That's where the fat starts building up and accumulating. And a good thing with choline complex, it actually makes homocysteine harmless, okay? It's a very cheap biological effect where, it goes in, it converts a homocysteine to something harmless, okay? And there's a big benefit of the what we call the choline complex. Now, what does that help with? Right? It promotes what we call good vascular health. And what does good vascular health lead to? You'll be surprised. Yes, erectile dysfunction. For those who don't understand that word, basically for the guys who can't get it up, because one of the biggest cause is, what makes the, I would say the guy stand out is because blood flow goes to that organ, right? And when you have blockages and the blood flows can't get through easily, it actually can lead to erectile dysfunction, right? It leads to varicose veins too. So you see people, due to sitting, due to poor whatever, gets poor circulation in blood. That's when you find that, you have very obvious varicose veins in the legs, right? And of course, you know that if you have good vascular health, it helps in preventing heart attack. Of course, if you can prevent heart attack, it prevents strokes, and more importantly, also deals with non-alcoholic fatty liver, okay? Now, here I'd like to get a friend to share a story of how it helps with varicose veins. Okay, shall I invite Joey come and share because he's Joey's friend, okay? And this come.
I think this photo is actually my friend's leg, varicose vein. Yeah, Patrick Moria. Yeah, he was from the construction industry. He used to, before COVID, he used to fly a lot to Europe, to US. So every time when you have a long flight, he will just, and his lifestyle is not just sitting for long. He seldom exercise. So I thought last time I used to think that varicose vein only affect women, mostly women or especially pregnant after pregnancy, right? But I never know guys also can get all this kind of issue until gradually he went to see the doctor, Changi Hospital. The doctor said he had to go through the surgery one by one. I said, so many of that, how to go through? I got a little bit worried. That was during that time, 2000, when CELEVA was about to launch. So he's also one of the guinea pig, willing to test it out. So he was quite surprised when he first take. I say when he first take, okay, before that I take a picture. Then gradually the just less than a month can see a little bit of improvement. And finally now, after that, in about a month, can see quite a big improvement. So at that time, it actually helped him gain the confidence. Of course, before that, he also take on Celergen. Yeah, he take on Celergen because of his own heart issue, high blood pressure and heart issue. So when he take on CELEVA now, he find that it can actually help him to move better. Or else his leg, actually, the doctor say if you still don't do all this, one day you may have to amputate because of the stagnancy in the blood flow. Yeah, that's Patrick Moria.
Thank you, Joey. So imagine you can do that to the varicose veins, right? What effect it will have on your heart. The heart is a little bit difficult because not like varicose you can see. So it depends on, you got to go through your scan, you got to go through your checks. And I think that's actually the best way to validate, whether how well CELEVA is working for you. Now, I'm going to just share a little secret of how do you do sustainable weight and fat loss, which I think interests many people. And of course, this is also what you will also do if you're just taking CELEVA to improve the health of your brains, membranes, and so forth. Okay. Now, this is also from my own experience, the experience of many of our associates here. Now, you can take up to actually as many as 3 CELEVA. In fact, Professor Mike, who created that, because he loves eating, he said, wow, I'm a Malaysian, I eat non-stop. He actually takes up to like 3 CELEVA a day. So like for myself, right now I've increased my own consumption to 2 because I've seen the effect it has. So you can also start with just 1 CELEVA a day. Now take it with meal. With meal means that, after you, about maybe 5 minutes into your meal, you can take the CELEVA. You can just take it just immediately after your meal. Okay, that's the easy way of doing it. Okay, but don't take it on an empty stomach. It may cause a little bit of a stomach upset if you take it on an empty stomach. Okay, now so that's your CELEVA. Now, of course, like what you say, the best is to combine it with the active lifestyle. Now, I'm not asking you to go run a marathon or something like that, okay? I would say start with things like brisk walking, right? Where you can take a bus, get down earlier from the bus stops, a couple of stations and kind of walk the way and get your, your 30 minutes a day or what we call the 10,000 steps type of stuff. That's a useful addition, okay? Now, don't go and just because you take this and you thought you can go fly or run a marathon, okay? So, brisk walking, I would highly encourage. It's a good way to, to get that, bit of exercise into your life, okay? Now, of course, one of the things I realized that, you're going to watch your diet. Now, one of the easiest way I find to wash your diet is really just take off all your carbs, okay? So for myself, for my lunch, I actually remove all the rice, or carbs or noodles. Yeah, I mean, you can go with your dishes, eat fish soup without the noodles, eat fish soup without the whatever it is. You still can have your best meals, but that doesn't make you deprive yourself from your fried rice. But that's a very useful tip. At least one of your meal a day, reduce the carbohydrates. So I would like to say reduce junk food too, okay, but maybe going a little bit too much. But yeah, it's also good to remove a bit more of the junk food. And to me, if you can complement it with Celagen, that will be very useful. Some of you have heard about Celagen from my previous talks, and just like I heard Ziling talk about it. Today is not a talk about Celagen, so you're interested to find out, just talk to the friend that's visited you. But Celagen will be very good in providing. Remember, when you improve the membranes of your cells, you're able to take in very good nutrients, and this is where Celagen gives you very good cellular nutrient. Now, the other good benefit is Celagen reduces your food glycemic index by 30%, which means that less of the food that you consume gets converted to sugar. Okay, that's the big plus point for Celagen. So when you complement it together with CELEVA, that actually makes a very good combo. Okay, for myself, yes, I do take my Celagen in the morning. Of course, I take my CELEVA after my meals. Okay, so that's the simple way to what I would encourage for sustainable weight and fat loss. Okay, simple enough to follow. Okay, that's your Celagen. All right. Now, the other thing is I do preach patience, right? I mean, a lot of times we are in Singapore, we expect instant gratification. Okay, like what I say, if you expect within 3 days, okay, not everybody will have the results like what Claire did. Okay, Claire was major detox. Okay, it's not that she lost fats immediately. Okay, so bear in mind, a lot of times we put our condition over a period of time. Okay, so don't expect like, wow, okay, 3 days. Instant type of stuff. My own experience is, give yourself a good 5 to 6 months, use the blood, use your blood test profile as a good test, and that will be a good way to assess the effect of CELEVA. Right. Now, CELEVA is actually brought to you by Avita. We are a wellness company founded in 2007. You realize that while we have been around in the market for a long time, we really specialize in various anti-aging solutions, including this, right? And the beauty about the Avita business, it allows people like myself and also you, not just to share this goodness with many of your friends, loved ones. It also enables you to, build a little business for yourself or build a big business for yourself, depending on how you want to do it. Okay, it's entirely up to you. Okay, and we actually founded across 10 countries across Asia. So you can see right now we are, and thanks to this lady, Miss Lee San, we always call her Miss Lee. Now, Miss Lee has a very precious saying, I always cherish. She said, life is a gift. Never take it for granted. Right? Because every life is really precious. So that, now I make it my mantra too, because every friend that I believe I can help or I can share and I think I can help their life become better, I share willingly, I share openly, and I share passionately. Okay? So now not only can you help your friends here in Singapore, you're able to help many, many more people around the world. Okay? We are in these 10 countries. If you look at it, we are looking at a population of 700 million people out there, okay, who's, ready for us to help. Okay, so I always tell people, first, get yourself healthy, then join us to make the world a healthy place, okay, and make it healthier and healthier. And I think, you know, we need a lot more people like us around, okay. Now, good way to start your CELEVA starter pack, you know, is what we call a 6-box, you know, for 6 months. Depending on whether you take 1 or 2 a day, but if you are taking 1 a day, you know, that will actually last you for 6 months. And of course, you can also have an annual pack if you are sharing together with your loved ones. Now, this is the prices, you know, for members, you know, that is there. Now, the good news is this, okay? Good news is for a limited time only, okay? For a limited time only, you are able to get your starter pack at the price that you are seeing down there, okay? So just check with your friend how you could actually get your CELEVA, get yourself started on CELEVA, okay? Now, as a final keynote, you know, you really know that the friends who really care about your health today has invited you, whether to Zoom or to this one, you know, and share CELEVA with you. And I wish all of you start your CELEVA adventure today, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kit. As I mentioned, I started CELEVA from day one, and it has really helped me. And I would like to have you encourage you to try it as well, because it makes my brain work better. It makes me walk faster, and just generally much more healthier. Okay, this is we've come to the end of the evening. I would like to thank all of you over here. You can talk to the person who invited you to find out more about getting the CELEVA starter packs, and also Celagen if you want to. And I would also like to thank people at Zoom for joining us this evening. And I wish you all a good night.